How come you're allowed a weapon and I'm not? Couldn't stay away, huh, lovely? Do I seem like anonymous threats to my style? Whatever.
What now? What? Absolutely not. I know someone's been threatening him, and I'm not happy about it. But I can assure you, it isn't me. All right?
Ixion turns. Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold braying.
Name's
Livia,
Rufius.
would you stop
Better watch
muttering
your
like
step.
Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
What business is
They
that
follow
of
their
yours?
traits, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of
Willow
your
Bar.
own, aren't you?
And this will work? Oh, thank God. Finally, some relief. This is what I've been praying for. Maybe God hasn't abandoned me after all. Thank you. I've been in a lot of pain lately. The rheumatism, these cursed statues always watching, and the crisis of faith. It was too much. Started messing with my head. This is exactly what I needed to set it straight again. I owe you one. No idea what you're talking about? Yeah? Prove it. See you around.
Wow. Isn't that a big, long bow?
Wonder how much one of these statues is worth on the outside.
Citizen,
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue the stone that always returns. You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue the stone that always returns.
I love your clothes. So
you
exotic.
Don't you just love springtime?
You... No idea what... Look, I haven't been
Don't you
at
just
my
love
best
springtime?
lately. I know that. It's the rheumatism. It starts with constant pain in all your joints. Then the pain starts to mess with your head.
Keep an eye out for
Makes you-
Sentinel, would you?
Angry. Mean. I know that's not an excuse for how I acted. But it's the truth. But with the willow bark, I'm already starting to feel like myself again. And I know I said I owe you one. So I'll leave him alone from now on. It's not as if I was ever going to hurt him anyway. I was just lashing out. I'm going to go and clean up the graffiti. Just forget this ever happened. Will you?
Ixion turns.
Welcome back. What demon or spirit told you about that? You went snooping in his place? That was risky. We're lucky you didn't cross any lines. Have you spoken to him about it? Really? How did you manage that? Poor fellow. I've heard that can really mess with a person's head. Well done for figuring that out. Really? That's promising. I'll keep an eye out for him. Nice to talk to you.
Arve. A new face. Arve, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite... Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?" The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, and then you would find a way to satisfy... But to be honest, I've often thought what an... Let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a... You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here? Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you? Older. I see. I wonder if... No. I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. I really think you should. Go around. Good. I just don't want to see... You have? Then what is it? Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else? That's true. I know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. What else? Yes, I also had such an encounter. It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. You mentioned earlier, you met a young woman in the forest named Karen, yes? I see. And was this Karen, by any chance, wearing a hood? Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths. But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
You look well, my sartorial friend.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means. I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can. That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks. To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and she, you say you saw a young woman, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve... Good question. Let's see. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal be? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the... Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it. If we don't want to be... We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Orpheus, a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra. And Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide. All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril. Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh! That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was adept. Are you telling me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again. It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque. Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask, it would have had the god's name engraved, and there's only one group of people. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one. They've been known to start fires as well. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, but I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine. I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local group. Perhaps Kabash, but I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tap. I'm afraid you're on your own. As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage. It is. The gods are a mirror image of mankind, as far as cruelty is concerned, I'm afraid. If the stories are true, I imagine she's as desperate to escape as we are. The problem is, how do we communicate with her? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't... Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps, if she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to tell me. Has she told you? Oh, I see. Well, let me know if you hear anything that might be a thread. All right. I would suggest not. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all... In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best... May Fortuna guide... Arve.
wonder how much one of these statues is worth on the outside. Oh, hello there, partner. I'm glad you're here. I think there might have been some confusion about my little practical joke earlier. You see, my plan was to give you a little fright. You know, like two friends joking around at the Saturnalia, and then, surprise, I'd open the door. But when I opened it, you were gone. Partner, there's no need for threats. Yeah, well, I don't have to listen to this. Get lost.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
Don't you just love springtime?
Wow, isn't that a big long bow?
You stay away from my money.
Don't you... You just love springtime?
All
Well,
weapons
Unless
are
you
to
want
be
me to
tossed
slip
into
some
the chasm.
hemlock into your
I just
little drink.
Thank you. I am delighted and honored to have been elected your magistrate. Magistrate, yes, yes. Thank you. I'm delighted and deeply honored to be elected your magistrate. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. And yes, no more shall you walk on. Did you just scale the wall to my villa somehow? I must remember to have words with that buffoon Domitius. Well, why have you risked life and limb to see me? My name is Marcus Malleolus Gurgis. You seem to have confused me with someone else. You mean my heterochromia? I am guilty of nothing more than having different colored eyes. And I'm hardly the only person with the condition. Alexander the Great had it too, as it happens. I like to think it is simply the way the gods have chosen to mark a natural-born ruler. Nothing more. Unlikely, because it simply isn't true. Now, was there something else you wanted? Look, if I had a Roman plaque in my possession, I'd be happy to sell it to you, but I don't, so I can't. I trust you can see yourself through the door this time. There's a key just beside it. Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I'm delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. And yes, no more shall you walk on eggshells. Yes. No more shall you walk on eggshells, fearing simply to live and breathe because the tyrant Sentius told you it was forbidden. Yes. My first act as magistrate, I hereby announce a day of celebration. I hereby announce a day of celebration to mark the end of an era. Yes.
You're not supposed to be in here. Talk. What business could you possibly have with me? My marital affairs are no concern of yours. Thank you very much. An intriguing proposition. Go on. Perhaps you're not as silly as those clothes make you look. What makes you say that? You know, I may have the very thing you're looking for. Some time ago, when he still cared for me, he wrote me a love letter. Only, he used the wrong name. Now, addressing one's wife by the wrong name is not unheard of among philandering Romans. But in this case, the name he got wrong was his own. I confronted him about it, and he stammered through some incoherent response. I let it go, eventually, and yet questions have lingered in the back of my mind ever since. But wait a minute. Why exactly are you helping me? To withdraw. Listen, I may not be Penelope to his Ulysses, but to ruin his plans to become a magistrate? You must think me quite mad. I've heard enough. Get out of here at once. Domitius, come quickly. We're being robbed. Do I need to call Domitius?
You again. Are you in? Why would I? You are I through the door.
You? Who are you? Did he send you? You're back. Have you come to let me go this time? You're back. Have you come... to let me go this time. I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our magistrate.
Oh, do us all a favour and drink hemlock.
Malleolus. Who else?
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Marcus Malleolus Gurges.
Hail, Magistrate Malleolus. I said, hail, Magistrate Malleolus. That's more like it.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. No more shall you walk on eggshells, fearing simply to live and breathe, because the tyrant Sentius told you it was forbidden. For my first act as magistrate, I hereby announce a day of celebration to mark the end of an era. The myth of the Golden Rule is no more.
The Golden Rule is real, you idiot.
For his attempt to deceive us all, Sentius is hereby found guilty of treason against the Empire.
What? I have committed no crimes. This is madness.
His sentence: to fight for his life in gladiatorial combat against Domitius. Here and now for your entertainment.
You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to get us all killed.
Wait, I exercise my right as a Vestal priestess to pardon him. I will not allow you to do this.
You're showing your true colors now, priestess. Your corruption sickens me. Domitius, ignore her. Proceed.
This is insanity. You'll doom us all.
Lies! It is time the Golden Rule was exposed for what it is. A children's fable, exploited by a treacherous leader to instill fear in all of us.
This is why he's in his gladiator gear. They've been planning this all along.
Shut up, all of you. The magistrate has spoken. I'm going to enjoy killing you, old man.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
We must get to the shrine.
Salve, friend. Mine? Oh. Yulia. Oh. Poor Virgil. All right, let me see. I'll go, but what?
How come you're allowed a weapon and I'm not?
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and keep the honor to elected your magistrate. Magistrate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply
I'm not. Talk. Some time ago. Now, I let it, but I couldn't agree more. One hand washes the other, as it seems our interests are aligned. But first, I want you to bring me some... Oh, don't look at me like that. I know this must be hard. Let me tell you something about Malleolus. He talks a lot about freedom. After all I've done for him, counseling him, he said it was for my own good and that my drinking was Tonight, at his victory party, I'm going to get good and merry. And if he tries to discipline, I am... So you're... Thank you. Here's the letter. Now, perhaps you can tell me who Quinctius really is. What? He's... Oh no, that's... quite a lot more serious than I imagined. I only wanted some leverage over him, not to destroy him. Give me that immediately. Nobody else must know. What? No. You... It was a lie of a mission. You were planning this all along and you... I curse you. This is outrageous.
Domitius doesn't usually let anyone in here without... Are you insane? Why? So... It finally caught up with me. I suppose that makes you... what? One of Nero's assassins? So... you're not going to kill me? Oh, so much work and money. Oh, well, if I do it, you'd let me live? Fine. Ruling this cesspit of a city would have been beneath me anyway. I'll have Domitius notify the priestess of my There. You got what you wanted. Now... Domitius, are you listening?
Yes, sir.
I've made a decision to release Julia Enopius and withdraw from the election. I want you to go and...
As you wish, sir.
Citizen. Name's Rufius. Better watch your step. No idea what you're talking about. What? That was Galerius, not you. Oh, he got that from you? I guess you did help me then. I think I have seen that plaque. Sorry I lied. Can't be too careful these days. Hidden to... Oh, And here. You didn't get that from me. So you...
What? Oh. Fine.
Citizen? Name's... No. What? Oh, I think I have seen that plaque. Sorry I lied. Can't be too careful these days. Hidden to the... Oh. You didn't... See you...
Ah, a fellow traveler, my friend, you... And in a city full of Romans you are asking me? Because I am Greek. My name is Georgios, yes. But the Romans, they do not care. They do this all the time. They see us worshipping. I am flattered that they copy our ideas, but at first I pull my hair out. After a while I give... But my point is this. If you want to know who stole an old Greek name, look no further than the sticky... The plague you seek was pilfered from a collection of old Greek... he cannot help it. Like, and besides, it makes him happy. So I say, let... I hope that our...
Tell me. Ah, yes. I will tell you everything I know. The one thing I long for. Let us find out. Excellent. I see you are indeed. Now, will you join me? Wonderful. Would you say you know the difference between right and wrong? You are an overthinker too. We're the same then. It is probably why I became a philosopher. But if you struggle with right and wrong normally, then down here with the golden rule, surely your struggle can only have become more difficult. Well, that's reassuring. And the truth is, you're not alone. You see, out there in the world, being uncertain about right and wrong was acceptable, because our mistakes rarely had consequences. So we would tell lies and bend rules and turn a blind eye and rationalize, and yet still find a way to think of ourselves as good people. But under the golden rule, morality matters. The slightest wrongdoing could result in a mass execution. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain about the difference between right and wrong. Wouldn't you agree? That is an excellent question, and it leads directly to my next line of inquiry. So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct, which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing? How can that be? Since they all have differences, it follows that in some cases they would offer different conclusions about what is right and wrong. If there is a correct moral code, then wouldn't it follow that only one can be the correct one? You know, I think you'd find an ally in Herodotus, a scribe from among my people who lived some 400 years ago. He told the story of a man named Darius, whose curiosity was piqued when he learned that a certain tribe had the practice of eating their dead. He asked some Greeks who burnt their dead, "What would it take for you to eat your dead?" Aghast, they replied, "Nothing." Then he asked the tribe who ate their dead, "What would it take for you to burn your dead?" "Nothing," they replied, equally aghast. From this, Herodotus concluded that custom is king, that right and wrong are merely local ideas which do not survive the journey from one tribe to another. Then let me ask you this. If you visited a tribe where they ate each other, copulated with the dead, and drank wine from cups made out of human skulls, would you still maintain that within such a tribe there is nothing wrong with such conduct? And that's a credit to you. It is the mark of a civilized person to change their position when presented with a superior argument. My point is this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows any hard and fast rules about right and wrong. If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil people will always find a way around them. And so we must accept our limitations, and the sad truth that no human society will ever achieve the utopia for which it strives. In mathematics, we would call it an asymptote, a line that can be approached but never reached. Because the only way to create a utopia is with the ever-present threat of force, such as the Golden Rule. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs when he first appears as a protector. And life under tyranny is no utopia at all. I'm glad to hear that. In any case, thank you for humoring an old man. I would be happy. You seek the plaque bearing the Egyptian inscription. It is a cursed object, and I would be happy to give it to you. I will tell you, but you may find him hostile. To prepare for your encounter, there are certain things you must know. Very few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, it was once entirely Greek. The architecture, the temples. When the Romans came, in typical fashion, they claimed it as their own. Thus, the shrine of Persephone became the shrine of Proserpina. And when they found an obelisk bearing the name Hades, they tore it off and replaced it with Pluto instead. And the city's dwindling Greek residents, witnessing this, they gathered their art and valuables, secret. However, there was one thing that always seemed an even older plaque bearing. We had no idea until years later, when the first of As a result of their deaths, we began to dig catacombs branching off from. We extended the tunnel so far that we Suddenly it made sense why there was an up. You see, we proud Greeks had thought the Romans beasts for stealing and corrupting our heritage. But it turns out this game has been going on much longer than. I think it is best you head through the catacomb. There are certain things you take this key. I enjoyed our chat, but please. Ah, you've returned.
Do not come any closer. Who are you? I am Kabash. And let me guess, another Greek or Roman come to loot and plunder the resting place of my ancestors, To what end? That is welcome news. You really are not Greek or Roman, are you? I was planning to return it myself, but for now, I must remain. Here, take it and restore the honor of Osiris. Now, as for the other plaque. Indeed, I have it right here. I stumbled across a collection of dusty curiosities while searching for a place to hide from the hungry children of Amit, and there it was. You may not. In fact, I am about to destroy it. Because it speaks a treacherous, blasphemous lie. I will tell you, but first, do you know what this place is? Indeed, and I see you know our history. This is the Duat. See what has become of it. I have been down here for weeks, piecing together its story, and here is what I have learned. As Egypt declined and the Greeks had their turn to flourish, their souls came here in great numbers, but instead of adopting our ways, they copied and corrupted them. When they found the obelisk bearing the name Osiris, the true god of the underworld, they desecrated it, removing his name and replacing it with Hades. Even the ferryman of the dead, known to my people long before as Kerti, they renamed to Keron. As if that desecration was not enough, they built over this place, using it as the foundation for their own underworld, so that ours was forgotten. My only solace is that the Greeks then suffered the same fate when the Romans rose to power, renaming Hades to Pluto, and the cycle began anew. It is inscribed with a script I do not recognize, but it is ancient, almost as if it is older than the plaque bearing Osiris's name. But if that is so, it would imply the gods of Egypt are mere imitations too, copied and corrupted from an ancient people who prospered even before us, and that my people did to them what the Greeks and Romans did to us. But this, I cannot accept. I sense a deception. Perhaps it is the work of Set, the usurper, seeking to undermine Osiris once more. You will never know. This work of sacrilege must be destroyed, thrown into the black abyss below in Osiris's name. You are too late. It is done. You would plunge into the depths of the Duat with no way back up. Madness. We shall see. When I told you that you would not find a way back up, that was not a prediction. That was a promise. You will die here. I disagree. I warned you against coming down here, against perpetuating this sacrilege, but you persisted. You have undermined and dishonored the true god of the underworld. How did you think this would end, if not with bloodshed? Very well, I will listen. But if I sense deception, or if you further insult my gods, I will carry out my threat. So tell me, why should I let you live after you salvaged this instrument of blasphemy? That may be true of many things, but this is different. If our gods were copied and corrupted from an older civilization, does that not mean they are false? Does that not mean our prayers to our gods all fell on deaf ears because we were not even addressing them by their true names? Now that I think about it, my people would sometimes call Osiris the god of many names. Perhaps it is so. But the underworld of my people is so different to this one, and so unlike the way it was described by our priests. Many of my ancestors endured great hardship to live good lives so that we may descend to the Duat in death and be judged accordingly. We prepared to have our hearts weighed on Anubis' scales and to swear ourselves innocent of sin before the 42 assessors of Ma'at. And yet, I arrive here to find the Book of the Dead contained only a seed of truth. And now, I ask myself, did our priests steal and embellish the stories of an older people and feed us lies all our lives simply to trick us into obedience? I am not sure I follow. Speak plainly. Perhaps there is some truth in that. What is your point? You are persuasive. Very well. I will let you live, and you may do what you will with that plaque. I will remain here for a while and attempt to learn what I can about the foundations of my people's beliefs. Go.
You carry the gift of Prometheus in your hand. Good to see you again, friend. Did you find what you need? Ha! If I did, would I be living like this? Did we not discuss it at length, or... You mean, how did I end up living I was a quarrelsome young man. At 19, back then I used to enjoy verbally sparring with... It became heated. He drew a gladius. I woke up on the banks of the Styx at a campfire opposite Karen. Of course, I tried to persuade her to let me return. But even I settled in, made friends, and learned what I could. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. I returned to my friends above, persuaded them to join me, and 12 of us descended for the last time to... They are one and the same. The Roman. My generation was wiped out, turned to gold, many years ago. I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return... Living in darkness is not without its challenges. And sometimes, when there are Greek people living up above, the greater challenge is the isolation. Like so many things, I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, I'm afraid I am the only one. Some from It had... As you wish. I enjoyed...
Hello. Do you like it? But... Well... If you get me out of here... Galerius already tried that. Like... Galerius? Yeah, Galerius will let me out. Then you can have my plaque. Bye-bye.
Are you well? Sentius, I suppose. Certainly. Very...
I hear... Well, Cynthia... My vote is... Nice to talk.
Shiny. Salve and welcome. All right.
Greetings and salutations. This part of my shop is off limits, even for you, my sartorial friend.
Sorry, was there something you want? You mean my... Oh, but I remembered... That, if that's your right... I know.
Feeling... That's a shame.
Don't you just love springtime? Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked. How is it possible? You're a bit like Sisyphus. Yeah. Sisyphus was a Greek king a long time ago. He was forced to push a great, forcing him to start up. Actually, now that I think, Tantalus was made to grasp at fruit on a... Oh, and Ixion was... Anyway, I don't know which god, so I'll tell you what. Oh, now, I'm going to keep your secret. Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just...
Citizen.
Don't you just love springtime?
Ixion turns. Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come. Say it. Speak its name. Then it is true. I was right. I thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane. I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seem cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the Metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you like to hear it? I will do my best to remember the relevant verse. There is a downward path, gloomy with fatal. The sluggish Styx exhales vapor, and by that way, the wide, thorny waste is cold and pallid. And the newly, as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place. There, the bloodless shadows. Others follow their. I hope I have done it justice.
Ave.
What now? Whatever.
citizen. Ah. Sentius. Millet. No. Can't talk long. Families from Solution on Tigris. Not sure. It was the rheumatism. So next, and then nothing. And that's all there. No, I don't. I mean, all the seems like I'm the. I don't know. See you.
Salve, friend. Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far? All right, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you.
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. No, 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 no. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please, please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him. Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
It's too late for that. Yulia and I made a pact. And she's already swallowed hemlock this morning. If I backed out now, I'd be betraying her. I can't do that. What? Are you messing with me? We're free. We're free. Thank you. It seems fortune smiles on us after all. I'd better go and pay a visit to Yulia immediately. I just wish there was some way I could repay you. But I have nothing but the tunic on my back. I'll go and take care of things with Malleolus and tell Yulia the good news. Thanks again, friend. I'll never forget what you did for us.
What you did was extraordinary, and... Please keep that to yourself. I know you're not from around here. There was a terrible fire in Rome last year. Oh, thank you. Here, in this place, the magistrate has me earning my keep by cleaning. I used to live in a lovely villa on the banks of the Tiber. I was even betrothed to a handsome young man from a... But long hours of... Oh, much the same way as many of the others. We were among the fortunate ones with enough coins for passage, but a scuffle broke out and I was pushed... I woke up by the river. Oh, that's all right. If you like. I'd like to think that if we all love our... But on the other hand, I was always taught, and that's where I get stuck. You don't think that's innocent men and women? If that's true, then... Ah.
Salve again, my sister. No. I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. Even I could do a better job. Me, a farmer. I've bounced the idea around once or twice, mainly as a way of getting Dooley set free. God knows Sentius is never gonna do it. But from what I hear, Malleolus has the... And maybe that's not such a bad thing. I mean, he talks a lot about freedom. So I'm hoping if he's elected, he'll release Dooley from his cell. That's good enough. He did? Oh, that was... I'll let Equitia know I'll be running. All right, friend. Hope...
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I beg your... Oh my. That is... Let's see. We don't have much to... Hercules, sis, and... So it's... May 14... cafe again. It must be completed by dusk. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Galerius, the challenger. Why do you ask? All of the male citizens who are willing and... There are some women who can vote. Vestal priestesses like... I can't allow the perception, but if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence... By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward. I'm responsible for an... As I said, I'm planning to hold... As you wish. Sir. See you again.
Salve. Welcome. Galerius. All right. Galerius, definitely. All right. Nice to...
Shalom. Sentius, I suppose. Galerius, the farmer. You mean where? But when I was a child, it's straight. A lot of good it did me. All right.
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you? Well...
he send you? Juno, you're here. You have to help me escape before that monster comes back. I'm Scintilla. I found a way out through the Gate of Horn, but it's locked. So I told him about it, and instead of helping me escape, he locked me up. He wants to keep us all here forever, or until we're turned to gold. He's a monster. You have to let me go so we can kill him and take his key. Sentius, my adoptive father. Furies, help me. I'll castrate and crucify him. I don't know. He said the gods are on his side because they don't want us to escape either. Behind me, there's an aqueduct tunnel bringing water from outside the city, so it should lead us outside. The only problem is it's barred by a heavy locked gate, and he has the only key. I'm going to take that key from around his neck, even if it means cutting his throat to get it. I'm done caring about the Golden Rule. I just want out. Help me, and we can escape together. There won't be enough time. Just you and me. What do you say? There's no time. Wait. What? No. It's no use. You're making a mistake.
Ave, we're finally alone. We have? I must have entrusted you. Is that about? Seems rather brash. Me? What are you talking about? You know, you remind me of him. Al Worth, the fellow who came through the portal before you. Come now, surely you didn't think you were the only one here who remembered everything. You see, my connection to the portal somehow preserves my memories from one loop to the next. Whether that was Proserpina's intention or a happy accident, I'll never know. But I'm surprised you hadn't noticed. Here I was thinking you were a little bit sharper than Al was. Or perhaps you're just more willing to break the rules. He was a moralistic fellow, never once compromised on his principles. And because of that fatal flaw, he relived this day many thousands of times before we finally had this conversation. I watched him come through the portal each time, always a little older, a little more disheveled, a little more haunted. And when he finally saw the futility of it all, as you're about to, it broke him. He drank a jug of wine, tied a noose around his neck, and took his own life, just before he was shot with a golden arrow. The next time I awoke, you showed up, but you You've caught up to where he was so quickly. I mean, you've lived through the day, what, 4 times? Extremely impressive. And yet everything you've done has been in vain, because there's no escape. Except the path that Al took, the path he wrote about on his tablet. What was it? Ah, yes. Best to take your own life now. So, you discovered my secret. So what? What are you going to do about it? Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I have grown attached to all this. My title, my beautiful villa, the sun on my face, the music of birds chirping. And as long as this day keeps repeating itself, I get to enjoy it all, over and over again, for eternity. Don't you see? I have found a way to prolong my life indefinitely, to cheat death. I have become, in effect, as immortal as the gods. Can you honestly say you would not wish the same for yourself? And why would I agree to that? You might want to think that through. If anyone so much as touches me, everyone dies. You and your pathetic morality. Understand that to me, the only way you're getting and if I die, I won't be able to open the portal for you again, meaning you'll have created a paradox. You see, it was my actions that brought you to this point in time. So if you kill me, you'll stop me from doing so, and you being here will be an impossibility. That means if I die, you'll be flung back to your original time, having caused the deaths of everyone here, and you'll never be able to undo it. Is that what you want? I certainly hope not. In fact, I want it to go on and on forever, until you wither and die like Al did, and the gods send yet another... What are you going to do? Now, get out of my
Isn't the great temple majestic? Ave again. It must be completed, but it'll be... Why do you... As I said, I'm... Well, I wouldn't describe... Yes, very well. Citizens, it is time. Let us meet to elect our magistrate. Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and late nominee Gallus Galerius Helver. Marcus Malleolus Gurges withdrew his candidacy earlier today. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius.
Galerius. He saved the life of my dear friend Fabian.
Dacius.
Sentius.
Virgil.
The man who put a stop to the threats I've been receiving. Galerius.
Ulpius.
Galerius, the man who saved my life.
Rufius.
The man who treated my rheumatism. Galerius.
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Gallus Galerius Helver.
What?
It has been decided. Magistrate Galerius, would you like to make a brief address?
I just want to say, this isn't something I ever wanted. Now that you've put your trust in me, I'm going to do everything I can not to let you down. I'll need some time to put together a list of the changes I want to make around here. But I promise you, there will be changes. My first order is that Dooley is to be freed. Horatius, release him from his cell immediately. Please. Wait, do I need to say please? I suppose not. That's it. You can all get on with your day. Nothing else to see here. Move along.
Fortune smiles on you today, Julius. Magistrate Galerius here has ordered your release.
You're going to let me out of here?
I'm sorry it took so long, my friend. And it wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't for a newcomer. So be sure to offer your thanks when you can.
I will. I will. Thank you, Galerius. I'm so happy.
I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Why don't you go to the baths? Then tell Georgius I said you could have some new clothes. Then I want you to go home and rest. I'll speak with you soon, Dooley.
Hello? Oh, thank you. You can have my shiny, and maybe you can help me find my friend Hannibal who used to look after me. But before that, he gave me a key to the cisterns and told me, please help me find it. Oh, thank you. Hope you find it. In the... Oh, look, maybe it is treasure. I could see it from myself. So pretty. And it's just lying out here in the open. Maybe nobody wants it.
They again? Certain. It's a reasonable question, but and even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would May Fortuna.
Be careful who you trust.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Salve, friend. What? That's... I doubt I'll be able to...
A fellow traveler from a faraway land.
Salve. What? We've all. All right.
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. No, 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 no.
That's the...
What?
What?
Please help him. Thank.
Let me go. Don't... You're just you. I'm out. Wherever you are. Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no! Well, I suppose it means suicide isn't a sin under the Golden Rule. That was not your I'll have to let everyone... and I'd better...
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans. But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal, ever since your arrival. You're unlike the others, aren't you? And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for mortals to wield, and you do it so brazenly that there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will. That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes, it is my duty. That is a story dating back to the very first wave. After the Sumerian... Now, this man was unmarried, and many women... Of all the women, two were particularly, their hair woven in elaborate fashion, draped herself in jewelry, seeing this ostentatious display, she prayed aloud to any gods that would listen. While the others indulged at the bank, she checked that nobody was watching, but I was watching. I took the golden bow left behind by Diana, and I shot that woman in the heart, covering her, and I left her to stand there, that she might serve as a grim reminder of what befalls those who... But that was not enough. The entire city was tainted, so I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. And to this day, each of them, and all who came up, suspended in time with only their sight and hearing preserved, so they may bear witness to and lament the folly. I give your kind a second chance at life, as well as ample warning about my law. And when you disobey, and you always disobey, you force my hand, bringing terrible suffering upon yourselves. And so you ask, if I am the one destroying your lives, you destroy yourself. When my kin departed, they left behind many relics which I inherited. A consolation prize of sorts. The golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them, and equipped them each with a duplicate of her bow, and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to determine right from wrong on one's own. No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12th tape. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle has been The Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer to make him do. The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics added, treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculties required to apply it to any situation. Yet none of the peoples who expressed this rule were able to For you, perhaps. I'm able to commune with all of the statues in the city. If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's not. Then what an odd question. Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations, or you get... Ah, yes, the debt bonds. Taking one's own life is a self-directed act. It is not one that is done to others, however they may be affected by it. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide has done anything unto others. Applying this rule always requires us to interpret the meaning of the words. Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken. Now tell me. Abduction? You mean the magistrate imprisoning his daughter? He did so because she sought to escape. A sin I take particularly seriously. Better that he stops her from escaping, albeit brutishly, than I have to wipe out this entire city to punish her. Wouldn't you agree? Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked? The midwife and the palace, yes. The rule is do unto others, meaning other people. Those statues, they are forsaken. Now tell me. The merchant. I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely. Applying this rule always requires speculation. Not if we're wise enough. Supposing you're... Now tell me. You speak of the moneylender, and he would never have signed a contract. Ignoring your irritating sense of moral superiority. This is... I see. I fail to see how you're... Now tell me. Do you honestly think you could do better? I should strike you down for that. Now, did you have any other questions before your reckoning? Very well. My story is many thousands of years long. You will need to be more specific. It is a matter of perspective. God is a label I was given by you mortals. Your ancestors revered me because to them, my knowledge and technology made me incomprehensible. But despite all that, my kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand. In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights it affords. Desire, joy, ecstasy, even rage and... No. Long ago, I swore to Proserpina that I would remain in this form for as long as we remain. This is my beloved. Like me, she has been known by many names. Ereshkigal to the Sumerians, Isis to the Egyptians, Persephone to the Greeks, and Proserpina to the Romans. Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of springtime, the cycle of life and renewal. Your gaze lingers too long. That is my servant. You would have met by the river, though she wears many faces and goes by many names. Kumutabal to the Sumerian. Her role is to ferry souls, but for that, she earned herself. You will talk more later. As you... It has come to be known simply as the Underworld, and it exists. That is a long story, one that began over 3,000 years ago and continues to this day. You see, long ago, my kin and I set out from our home on Elysium to search for other forms of life among the stars. We discovered your planet, and witnessed you all but destroyed yourself. Yet Proserpina saw raw potential in you, and persuaded the rest of us it would be squandered. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in For a time you flourished, but soon you were too many for us to. We had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion. My kin had seen enough and gave up on your kind. We began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world, a utopia unspoilt by conflict and unimaginable in its beauty. But my Proserpina could not bear to abandon your kind without guidance, and knowing it would force the rest of us to leave her behind, she made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her immortality to descend permanently to the ranks of humankind. And so she began her inescapable trajectory toward death. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation in a deep frozen sleep to prevent age and sickness from claiming her. It was and is my hope that once, but he refused. I did everything I could to persuade humans were unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made. But seeing that I was aggrieved, he proposed a wager, the terms of which were as follows. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin for a single year, then Proserpina and all of humanity would be permitted to join us in Elysium. My part would be to remain behind, the last of my kind. And so my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000-year winter, waiting for the day your kind proves itself worthy of her faith, so that I might take her with me to Elysium and unthaw my goddess of springtime. And here I am, after all. There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many. Our leader, Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, Juno, Minerva, Mars, Venus, Apollo, Diana, Vulcan, Vesta, Ceres, and of course, as the first wave of your kind arrived from Sumer, I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths. I watched wave after wave of Sumeria, of course, believing themselves to be the superior civilization. After another 1,000 years, the Greeks, they built upon the underworlds of their predecessors. To ensure the wager was fair, it was important that my subjects were chosen at random. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens fashioned from silver. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant and ferried to this place. As the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into... Later, when they spread to Greece, some placed coins in the mouths of their dead, hoping they would awaken here. In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for. Only 2 remain. Your kind would have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock. It is a regrettable story. To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that... But the erasure did not take... His tales were committed to writing. Later, the Egyptians would adapt their Book of the Dead and Book of Gates. Then, when the Greeks began to arrive, a warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named Sisyphus and Theseus. They each told embellished tales of this place. And so from Sumer to Egypt. Of course. Good. Only, it has long been within my power to see into the hearts of mortals and weigh their deeds in life. When I peer into you, I see only a blank slate, as if you did not exist until you appeared in this city. How is this possible? Charon, where did you find this one?
I do not remember ferrying you. How did you come here? If that is true, then I sense the intervention of someone powerful.
How did you come to be in this time, mortal? Who brought you here?
We cannot know.
I do not know. My kin departed long ago, and Proserpina has slumbered for 3,000 years. Tread lightly, mortal. Enough of this. It seems I will need to put your reckoning on hold for now. But answer this. Why have you come here? What is it you seek? Your hubris is amusing. So if you anger me or waste my time with lies, so tell me. How so? And be specific. You have made a grave allegation, and I expect you to back it up. His cruelty does seem to... He is a volatile... True. Pathetic. That is a very I am well aware of the story told by the Greeks and Romans. It is entirely unfair. It was an act of rebellion against the others. She knew I would have to act to save her, and I did because I loved her. Accordingly, I read... These people were all dead when my servant found them. I gave them a... Then you still have the option to end your life should you wish. Accordingly, every one of those people was guilty of failing. They failed collectively, and so they were... How unfortunate. Ah, but I'm a god, and you are a mortal. Why would you expect me to? Let me ask you this. Do you treat insects as you wish to be treated? Do you care for their well-being as you would your fellow man? Do you ensure they have food and shelter? Of course not. My love for her does not mean I am not superior, now that she is mortal. Where to begin? In which time we accumulate... Because that is the source of our power over you. You could say that. My kin have no superiors. That is true. Go on. Make your point, mortal. Let me ponder that for a moment. If you are right, then it would follow that all this time I have been in the wrong. But no. The very thought of it grieves me. How can I accept your argument, when doing so would make me a tyrant and a monster? Wait, what? What are you saying? You have spoken eloquently, and yet, if what you say is true, it follows that my wager was fatally flawed from the beginning. But that would mean Jupiter, Proserpina's father, who knew more about you than anyone, proposed a wager I could never win. Why would he do that? Perhaps, but if that was so, surely I would have sensed his deception. How could I have been so blind for so long? Your words sting me, mortal. But perhaps it is what I deserve. As difficult as this is to admit, I have suspected as much for a long time now. And I cannot deny it any longer. I've been so fixated on taking my beloved to Elysium that every time one of you sinned, it wore away my hope of being with her again. In time, I began to despise your kind for making her believe that you could ever be better than you are. But my rage was not born of malice. Quite the opposite. Everything I have done, I did because I loved her. Who knew this empathy of yours, which you celebrate so much, could have such a dark underside? This has gone on too long. It is time for me to let go of this form, of her, of all of you. But know this, if I abandon the way Jern Lee for Elysium, neither she nor your kind may ever ascend. Because doing so would violate the rules of my sacred agreement with Jupiter, and you would receive a hostile reception. The best I can do is return you to the land of the living. I will have Charon make arrangements to ferry the others. But as for you, be aware you will be separated from the rest. Once this exodus begins, the events that brought you to this moment will never have taken place, and you will have created a paradox. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering in the natural flow of time. Now, are you ready? Farewell, mortal.
Oh. Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al. Well, here I am. Oh, did that lady in the forest send you in here after me? I guess I lost track of time. I'm fairly certain you and I are the first people to set foot in this city. Fortunately for us, the last person in here was a Roman man named Galerius, who inscribed an account into a tablet. Apparently, there was a community of 20-something people trapped in here, and living in fear of a curse that they believed that if even one person sinned, an unknown... Then, one day, just as Galerius had finished praying for a good heart, an oracle appeared, and told him how to solve the ills of the city, and so on. Meanwhile, the oracle walked up to the temple of the mysterious god, this one right here, and demanded an audience, and the doors just opened up to her. Nobody knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus, because the next thing he knew, the ground shook and the voice of that god rang out over the city. The many have suffered long enough. Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that, leaving a lot of questions unanswered. What became of him and the other people? And did this mysterious oracle single-handedly what? Oh, I see. Anyway, I think I found a way out through the aqueduct that brought water into the... I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else has ever lured into... You go on ahead.
You're back! But you're alone. Does that mean you didn't find Al? Oh, what a relief. Thank you so much. I was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there. Why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait?
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions. You can just call me Charon, if you like. I am sorry I was not completely honest. I do not enjoy deceiving people. Believe me, I do not. That most people find comfort in familiarity. That you died, of course. My role, as the servant of the god of the underworld. Usually, when people do not remember how they died, it is because they suffered a terrible trauma. Most souls would rather not remember. Ask yourself honestly, do you really want to know? As you wish. You were murdered. You were exploring an old tomb when you discovered a cache of forgotten relics, including 2 silver coins of ancient origin. Unfortunately, as you emerged into daylight, you were set upon by 2 thieves. A nearby hiker saw the scuffle break out and leapt to your aid. You both fought bravely. There was nothing you or your ally could have done. He died instantly at the scene, and you followed a few hours later. That man's name was Al Worth. You were each in possession of a sacred coin, called Charon's. It means I am now bereft of purpose. There is nobody else to ferry here, nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years, perhaps you have heard the tale. Well, a long time ago, my orders were simple. It means there is nobody else to ferry here. I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a long... And there was a tablet describing an oracle who
Sounds like quite a story. And I look forward to hearing all about it. But you two look exhausted.
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
Hey, you made it. It's great to see you again. I read your book, and what the critics said about it. I guess they weren't ready for your theories about the underworld. After everything you've been through, so after we got back to the real world, I started doing some research into the people I'm sorry I've been so cryptic. Why don't you head on down there?
Oh, hello.
You're finally here. Remember me? It's a crazy story. After you disappeared, Charon appeared and told us she was returning us to the world. even gave us some coins to help us start our lives over. Only, for some reason, she returned us to your world instead of ours. Anyway, I know we only ever had that one conversation, and I wasn't even sure if you'd remember me, but... Oh, I used Charon's gift to buy a farm in Umbria. Got a villa on it too. It's hard work, but I sleep soundly every night. I know! I can't believe my luck. We're planning to get married next spring. Of course, there's a whole museum full of people waiting for a chance to thank you, so you'd better keep moving.
You're here. It's lovely to finally meet. So, you're the hero who somehow vanquished the lot. I'm just teasing. Actually, and it still feels a little sad. Galerius and I are engaged, and expect. It feels like the world has just... We're just so thankful. Oh, it's sweet of you to ask. See you.
There she is!
Hello, I'm the... Galerius said you're very nice. I live at Galerius and... Treasure? Oh. Yeah. Bye-bye.
It's you.
Hey.
Evening. Hi there, I'm Horatius. I understand we have you to thank for giving us a second chance. I'm living up north and studying, and the world's changed a lot. But some things stay the same. Still, I have to keep the ones who pine. He's not my... Oh, he had more trouble. He got himself disqualified from the UFC. So he started some kind of underground supposed appeal to people's baser instinct. But his luck finally ran out. And his life along with it. See you at...
Hi there. You are here. It's nice to finally meet you. Lucy is fine. I'm making an effort to blend in as you can. If the world knew we died 2,000 years ago. Speaking of which, I'm studying to get into medical school. When it ended, I realized... Oh, she didn't make it. She died from poison while you were in the... It wasn't your fault. Decius is to blame. He's here somewhere too. Not that anyone would talk to him. I'm not even sure. You too.
I take it... Actually, I changed my name to Cynthia. I didn't want to be a... I'm not sure if you heard, but after you drove Pluto off, she knew right away what none of us had figured out about that psychopath. But he's been dealt with. He's still there, all alone. The last golden statue. Eternal torment. You too.
Good
Hello
evening.
there.
Some soiree, innit? Ah, hello at last. Listen, I wanted to express my sincere... Whatever you did in that temple. Such acerbic... Oh, wait, before... I took the money I made from selling my trinkets and, in fact, I was hoping to ask your advice. I can't decide between fossil fuels to... Oh, don't be like that. You can... Oh, of course, yeah. Of course.
Good evening.
Hello there. Oh, I go by Gabriella now. I didn't want to be reminded of that monster every time I heard my own name. After you drove Pluto off, Proserpina came and released me. I'm living by myself on a little vineyard in Umbria, but it's been... Oh, it's hardly... Thanks.
Hello.
There you are. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, there's one more person I wanted to introduce you to. I think you know her.
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a little joke I've been saving for a long, long time. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal, and now a regular mortal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people, and me. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your intervention. Indeed. Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the art, I was able to control their tongues, and whisper to you when he... I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still, after witnessing Pluto punish countless, so I tried to give them a way to buy more. So I whispered to Sentius in secret. I knew the danger of humans being corrupted by godly power. I required the creator of the portal to sacrifice their own life, so that it could only be used selflessly. What I did not anticipate is that Sentius would retain his accumulated memory. He quickly discovered that he could, in effect, of course, once I had taught him the prayer, I could not unteach him. And there was little. We were all fortunate. I don't know what happened to him. Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. She wouldn't say what it was. And you. Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all those golden statues scattered throughout the city? Good, because they remember you. Well done, my friend. Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld and returned, none came close to achieving what you did. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus, and Aeneas would be proud.